Prometheus, June 8th. Again, I can't remember if I saw it in 3D in the theater. I want to say I didn't, but I enjoyed it. I thought that there was some parts of the story that didn't quite gel with what we already know from the Alien movies, but also I don't think they were supposed to be exactly the same. There is some leeway given for stuff to happen in between Prometheus and the first Alien movie, kind of. I was really surprised to find out how much of the stuff that I thought was CG was actually practical, like animatronic effects and that kind of thing. Definitely give it a shot. It's a good sci-fi movie, even if you don't like its connection to the Alien movies. June 12th, I picked up a straight-to-DVD, Blu-ray, straight-to-disc movie by DC Animation through Warner Brothers. Superman vs. the Elite. It's an animated adaptation of an actual story from the comics. It's one of my arguments at this point against what I'm hearing that Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan are doing with The Man of Steel, which comes out later this year, because the whole concept of the story is that Superman is Superman. He has to remain Superman no matter how dark the world gets. The idea that my argument is that you don't make Superman dark, you make the world around him dark, and the story gets even better. Superman always needs to be Superman. Personal opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan. June 22nd, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I saw it in the theater, not in 3D, but I did buy a 3D Blu-ray. I thought it was pretty awesome. I'll be honest. It's a cheesy concept. They admit it. But as soon as you get past the training montage, everything is taken pretty much seriously, as if it was a serious horror film about a guy hunting vampires, who also happens to be Abraham Lincoln. I thought they did a decent job of working the vampire hunting into the story of actual events from Lincoln's life. The CG was good. The concept of the vampires was good. I like that the vampires are monsters. They know they're monsters, and they're monsters being monsters. Of course, they're still remember their human lives, but from what I could tell. But the thing is that they know they're bad guys, and they're being bad guys. What can I say? Too many vampire movies nowadays try to make them too human and pretty. But go see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Don't expect it to be completely funny, but at least give it a chance. June 29th, my friends took me almost kicking and screaming to see Ted. It's the Seth MacFarlane movie about the talking teddy bear. I wanted to give it a shot, but since I'd already paid my money to get there. But I mean, there was like a 15-minute long sequence, which was one long cocaine joke. And other than that, it was like a long episode of the parts of Family Guy that I don't enjoy. Also, Mark Wahlberg plays the same Mark Wahlberg character Mark Wahlberg plays in every movie. You could get a block of wood to play that role. I'd say don't watch it. That's me. July 20th, Dark Knight Rises. So I actually went out, drove to Oklahoma to see it in IMAX, which I think was well worth it. I think the one thing I did come back from the movie, I mean, obviously it's never going to live up to The Dark Knight. Some of Bane's motivation isn't quite convincing, and my biggest gripe about the whole thing, and it could have just been, I mean, it's in the Blu-ray and DVD as well, but Bane is very loud compared to everyone else. So in the theater, it was already loud, and then he was loud on top of that. Half of the movie we spent trying to figure out what he was even saying, because it was so loud it was unidentifiable. Beyond that, I do think that some of the stuff that was pretty much taken directly from the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel was done well enough. I'm glad Christopher Nolan toned down the Bat voice. Not Christopher Nolan. Christian Bale toned down the Bat voice. Anne Hathaway was good as Selena Kyle. I did like that they didn't straight up call her Catwoman, because I think that would have been cheesy in Nolan's universe. I hated the ending part with Robin. You've probably all seen the movie by now, so I'm not ruining anything for you. And no, I don't expect them to continue that on. In fact, what I've heard, the next movie they intend to have Batman in is a Justice League movie, which will not be tied into these movies. But definitely, that just like with Avengers, one of the best movies of the year. Watch it, obviously. You probably have already. August 17th, The Expendables 2. I didn't see this one in the theater. Again, like with the Men in Black 3, I did, in fact, on the same day, they both came out on the same day, I did a blind buy of the Blu-ray and watched it. I enjoyed the first Expendables. None of my friends wanted to see the second one. At least no, yeah. I appreciate it for being like a cheesy 80s action movie in modern times. I thought it was good. Stallone probably should back off on the hair dye, though, especially in his facial hair, because it was really noticeable. Chuck Norris is in it. You know, it's okay. I was disappointed that Jet Li's character is pretty much gone after the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. So I was hoping to see more of him, but I understand, that arrangements probably couldn't be made in time for him to be in the whole movie. But definitely enjoyable in that cheesy 80s action movie way.